Blue Bracelet Derangement Syndrome: How U.S. Immigrant Expats in Panama Lost Their Minds in a Facebook Forum, or How Immigrant Expats Learned How Not to Talk About Politics While Living in Another Country. How did a simple ad for selling jewelry become a liberal bashing extravaganza on a local immigrant expat Facebook forum? Let's find out. First of all, some background information. I am a U.S. immigrant expat living part time in Panama. It is a wonderful place to live in the winter months since it is so warm, the people are friendly, and Panama uses the US dollar as its currency. I have gone through the whole process to receive a pensionado or retirement visa, and even have the cedula and a Panamanian driver's license now. I'm considered a permanent resident of Panama. I love living here, but I miss my family and friends in the United States when I'm apart from them. Just because I live part of the year in Panama does not mean that I stop caring about what is happening in the US. Nearly every Facebook forum for immigrant expats in Panama, the mantra is to never discuss US politics because it will just lead to discord, and the Panamanians don't want a bunch of US citizens beefing with each other constantly. I get it, and I have made a habit of never speaking up about my own liberal politics here unless someone else brings it up first. I've also ignored any pro Trump rhetoric I've heard or MAGA clothing that I've seen here in Panama. Until now, that is. Our story begins with a simple ad from one of my friends who makes pretty beaded jewelry and sells her wares in the local marketplace. She put an ad in the forum highlighting her blue beaded bracelets that she has created by request from another friend of mine. So after the ad was in the Facebook group, one person asked, "Why the blue bracelets? Were they for a charity or something?" Another person responded that they were part of the blue bracelet movement that liberal women were beginning to wear in support of each other. Those posts have since been deleted, otherwise, I would have had a screenshot available for you to see. Anyway, after that comment, suddenly a lot of conservative people started complaining that politics were being discussed in the group, which is against the rules. They also started liberal bashing at the same time. Funny how that works. I became quite amused by how triggered these people were about the color blue, and so I said so. This really triggered one lady into bashing liberal women, and myself specifically. I've used Rosie the Riveter as my avatar, while the lady trying to shame me is the Karen avatar. The Karen basically said that we liberal women were ugly inside and out and posted an especially grotesque picture of what liberal women look like. She responded exactly as an actual middle school mean girl would, which I mocked the next day. You will see this response soon. Eventually, my friend, the jewelry artist, had to make a post of her own explaining that she made these bracelets for friends who had asked for them, and she didn't believe that it was a political statement. Most people are supportive of her because she is a well known artist here. Since one person had said that red bracelets should also be available, I thought that was a good thing to do to show how silly it is to get triggered by a color. So I made one of my own, along with a red, white, and blue one for the colors of the US and Panama flags, and wore them on my wrist along with the blue bracelet that I bought from my friend. I posted a picture of this and used the acronym BBDS that stood for Blue Bracelet Derangement Syndrome, since so many conservatives have accused liberals of having DTDS when we got upset about policies and rhetoric of his that have made our lives worse. One of the conservative women who likes my friend's jewelry kind of apologized to her and then made an offhand, not friendly remark about the blue bracelet wearers. I replied that the blue bracelets should be ignored instead of commented upon, just as I had done with MAGA merch while in the US and in Panama. For her avatar, I've used the Live, Laugh, Love logo. Live, Laugh, Love lady both cited me in response. At one point, I gave an easy to read and understand Glamour article about the blue bracelet movement. I chose the Glamour article since it couldn't be accused of being a liberal rag. It was apparent to me that some conservatives were confusing the blue bracelets with the Korean 4B movement and were losing their minds about it. I even stated that I didn't think the blue bracelet movement was the best response ever because more action needs to be taken, and this is more performative than anything else. However, for the liberal US women here in Panama, it was the one thing that could be done to get the ball rolling, so to speak. And my friend made the bracelets, so I thought it was a win win. Here is the one sentence summary of the article I posted about the blue bracelet movement for the Live, Laugh, Love lady to read, which she didn't. Live, Laugh, Love lady began arguing with me about the blue bracelets and the 4B movement, as she and other conservative posters had already conflated the two movements. She sent many articles to me about it after not reading the one article that I sent to her. I also said that she shouldn't talk about blue bracelet wearing women as she had, and that it was mean girl behavior. Live, Laugh, Love lady insisted that she wasn't a mean girl and that US politics should be left in the US. Again, Live, Laugh, Love lady stated that the blue bracelets were part of the 4B movement, and I told her that they weren't. I told her that she was making up salacious stories about liberal women and that this was bullying. I asked her if she'd read the one simple article that I had sent her, which she didn't respond to. Live, Laugh, Love lady feigned ignorance about spreading disinformation, but I showed her what she had said to others, where she states that the blue bracelets were part of the 4B movement, and to be fully supportive, you need to shave your head and deny your husband sex. Live, Laugh, Love lady insisted that she was correct about blue bracelet wearing women needing to shave their heads and abstain from sex, and she doubled down on it. Eventually, I realized why all of this talk about blue bracelets and the 4B movement was bothering me so much. Even if you are part of the 4B movement and decide to shave your head, abstain from sex and having children, etc., why is that anyone's business but your own? I came to the conclusion that this intentional conflation of the movements was triggering for the conservatives in the group because it shows that liberal women are trying to do something about the recent revocation of our rights and ways that men are behaving toward women and girls now, such as the boys and men saying, "Your body, my choice, forever." I wanted to remind them that liberals live here in Panama too, and that we deserve to be treated with respect. I came to the conclusion that they had not shown any respect for us in this forum because they were used to owning and policing this space. I am no longer going to be quiet when I see this behavior. Today, one poster, here given the Shiro avatar, gave a really good breakdown of the movements, which was a beautiful thing. Shiro even cited the articles, which made my retired librarian heart grow 3 sizes today. So at last, the Live, Laugh, Love lady that I was arguing with the whole time that the blue bracelet movement and the 4B movement were two different things was finally set straight. After the absolute Shiro had posted the relevant articles about the three movements that the conservative posters had conflated together in order to insult us, I went back and read the articles that Live, Laugh, Love lady had posted that we were arguing about the blue bracelets not being part of the 4B movement. I found that none of them mentioned blue bracelets at all, as I had suspected all along. Live, Laugh, Love lady then changed her tactic to pretend that she was only talking about women who were participating in 4B like movements in the US, not the blue bracelets. I think by this time she realized that she was, in fact, wrong, but couldn't admit it. I reminded Live, Laugh, Love lady that she had indeed confused the movements together in order to insult us, and that she chose the consequence of being called out on it herself. In the end, the only thing left for Live, Laugh, Love lady to do was to try to get the last word in. So, what have I learned from this whole immigrant expat Facebook forum experience? Well, for one thing, There are many loud, insulting conservative immigrant expats here in Panama. There are also many liberal immigrant expats here in Panama, but they seem to have been bullied into not engaging in the forums when people do inevitably bring up politics. The conservatives believe that they own the spaces, Facebook forums, public spaces in town, etc. They believe that they can say whatever they want without any pushback or consequences for their behavior when they post insulting texts or images about liberals. They are not used to being held responsible for their actions and speech. As immigrant expats, we can't fully leave our political selves behind us at the US border as some would like us to do. The United States is too important on the world stage to ever dream of getting away from it. As a US citizen who has lived in many different places in the world, I know from experience that just being who I am will invite people to ask me about US politics. You cannot escape it. There are ways to discuss politics without being insulting and behaving badly. We need to have these discussions respectfully. However, if respect isn't given, the F around and find out will be even worse for conservatives who feel invincible now. In the meantime, I am patiently waiting here in Panama for that day. For never can true reconcilement grow where wounds of deadly hate have pierced so deep. This is a quote from Paradise Lost by John Milton.